Welcome back to my channel. If you're an oldie but a goodie, welcome back. If you're a newbie, my name is Lovelies and this is my channel. Thank you so much for watching. In this video, I will be talking to you guys about the fundamental shape differences and also pros and cons of closures versus frontals. Now, I have a previous video from 2012 which I sent to my clients who contact me and want wigs made, which tells them basically the differences between closures and frontals and what the differences are and what the benefits of each and every one of them are. So since my channel has evolved since 2012, I didn't want to make that video live because it's of a lower quality, made from my laptop and things like that. So I thought I would actually create a brand new video and talk to you guys about closures versus frontals, pros and cons. So before I get started on the benefits and the cons of each and every one of them, I thought let me explain to people who are new about what they are. What am I talking about? So basically, when you do a weave or a wig, you will have a part of the wig that is lace. So basically it mimics what your natural scalp would look like, and they come in different sizes. The first one I'm going to talk about is going to be a closure. This is what a closure looks like. It's literally a piece of lace, and it can also be silk. Both of them come in silk and lace, but generally a closure comes as a lace, which is a small piece of hair that will go on top of the hair where you will be parting it. And with closures, like I said, they come in lace, which has differences. There's Swiss lace, there's regular lace, and it comes in silk as well. This particular one is just a basic lace closure, which is what most people use when they make wigs. Now, there are also an alternative, which is a frontal. A frontal is not as small as a closure. It is actually goes from ear to ear so that you have a full hairline that looks more like your own hairline. So this is what a frontal looks like. As you can see, it's a lot bigger than the actual closure. And again, this can come in silk and it can come in different laces, and you can color the lace to make it more like your skin tone so that when you put it on top of your skin, it actually mimics your natural skin color, so to say. So are you with me? Are you with me? Are you with me? Now, when it comes to wig making, if you are a beginner, and I will be throughout this video referring to beginners versus pros when it comes to wig. When I say pros, I mean people who've been wearing wigs for years, so they know how to manipulate, they know how to gel down baby hairs and things like that. When you order a wig, you will have a choice of whether you can use a closure or a frontal. And if you're a beginner to wigs, I definitely recommend a closure. The reason being that it's a lot more, it feels a lot more secure. It saves you a lot of time when you're styling it in the morning, because when you have a frontal from ear to ear, you literally have to brush down the baby hairs and make sure that they mimic your natural hairline. Some people like to glue it, some people like to gel it. It's all up to you what you feel comfortable with, but I know I'm partial to gelling things down. Now, when you have a closure, there's a lot of benefits, such as you can literally pack in as many bundles of hair as you like. Generally, you can go as high up as 5 or 6 bundles if you want. But it also allows you to have thickness on the side of the hair, which you can't get with a frontal, because the frontal takes over this part of the hair. So it can be difficult to pack in a lot of bundles of hair. That's one of the main benefits of this. The difference being that when you have a closure, you cannot pull your full hair up. So that can be a drawback for a lot of people, because they want the option to actually put their hair up like that. And I can understand that, but the closure actually has baby hairs at the very front, which you can gel down and make it look like your own, where it's visible. For me, as when I started with wigs, I only went for closures. It was a lot easier because when I make my wigs, I use a elastic band on both sides of this that goes at the back of the head. That allows the entire wig to remain secure. And because 90% of the wig is actually a wig cap, it's a lot more durable. Like you can have those wigs with closures for 4 years if you take care of the hair and the wig itself. So I definitely would say when you're new and you contact me and you ask me for my opinion and you don't have a clear opinion what you want and you want my expertise on it, I always recommend a silk or a lace closure. It just makes life easy for you. Another drawback is people cannot divide up the hair wherever they want. So where the tracks have been sewn, you cannot divide the hair there. You can only part the hair where the closure is. And for me, that's not been a problem because I actually prefer that. Because when you actually create a wig and you use a closure, and let's say the closure's here and you have it in the middle, when you want a side part, you will just move it to the side that you want the parting to be without having to deal with opening up the parting and making sure that you use a straightener on it to make sure that it lies flat. You just move it and it's fine. And you can see that in my wig lookbook videos. Pros when it comes to closures is definitely, for me, outweighs any of the cons, as with frontals as well. It just gives you a versatility, and if you're new, it doesn't stress you out on how to make it look natural and things like that. And don't forget, the closures also come in different sizes, so you can have the small basic one, or you can have a little bit bigger, and you can have a 3 parting or a 3 parting and things like that. There'll be an image coming up here showing you the different sizes of closures that you can have. So definitely for me, in my experience of wearing wigs and using wigs and making wigs over the last 5 years, closures have a special place in my heart because they're just easier to deal with for beginners. Now when you graduate and you become a pro at wig making and pro at wig wearing and pro at the wig love game, then that's when people start using frontals. And again, frontals come in different sizes. Like you see this one, it's basically a 12 by 4. And then you have a 12 by 5 and 6 and 7. So this is a 12 by 7, which is a huge frontal. And it will, when you place it, it will go to the back of your head. A lot of people love this because it also means that their edges are visible and they can like manipulate the hair, and they can put it in a bun, they can put it in a ponytail, they can put it in like space buns, whatever you desire, you can do it with a frontal. Because it allows you access to your edges whilst you're wearing your wig, and it makes it look less wiggy. The drawback is, obviously, when you bring a frontal or purchase a frontal, it generally looks like this. And the hairline, I have to say, does not always look natural. So you will spend an amount of 2 hours before you even start making the wig, plucking and making the hairline look natural, because nobody's hairline starts thick. It starts very like sparse, like baby hair, and then it will get thicker the further in it goes. Now when you have a frontal like this, and let me just hold it comme ça, you see it's a very defined edge. And if you didn't manipulate this to make it look natural for you, you will end up looking like a Barbie doll where the hairline just starts thick. And that's one of the problems or the cons of a frontal. You have to spend a lot of time bleaching the knots and plucking the hairline, which I'll show you in another video because this is part of my wig series. You have to pluck it to make it look like your own before you make the wig, which means you have to see what the person's hairline looks like. You have to know what the person's skin tone is so you can tint the lace to be what you want it to be. And I would say if you're a pro, fine. It requires a lot of TLC, tender loving care, to maintain frontals. And when you wake up in the morning and you put on your wig, you will have to go in with a toothbrush or an edge comb to make sure those baby hairs lie on top of the lace to make it look more natural. So if you're a mom, if you're like a high-flying businesswoman, that might be a problem because you will on average spend 12 to 25, 30 minutes each morning laying down those edges and putting on a scarf and making sure everything looks natural. Otherwise you'll feel very self-conscious when you go out and meet people because you'll be thinking they're looking at your hairline and you don't like it. So that's one of the drawbacks. When you start wearing wigs, it's very difficult to go straight into the pro frontals because they require a lot of manipulation to get it looking right. Unless you are quite good at that and you have the time and you're a single lady and you're like free in the morning and you can spend half an hour manipulating that hair, I would say start with a closure. And everything I'm saying in this video is based on my experience as a wig wearer, as a wig maker, and a wig lover. I have been through all of these stages. I have started with closures that take minimal amount of time. You just slap it on, comb it, style it, you're good to go, bye. To frontals, which will take me time and I get frustrated. I'm like, oh my God, what am I doing? But I love them both equally because I'm now at a stage in my life where I can have frontals and I can have closures and I can have everything in between. But for you, if you, like I said, if you're a beginner, start with closures. If you're a pro and you're used to wigs, you can go for frontals and you can go for different sizes of frontals there. And another big difference with the two is when you use a frontal, it doesn't matter what size, you can use the smaller ones or the medium ones or the larger ones. The problem with frontals is they take up half of your head when you're making wigs. So you cannot send in 5 bundles and ask the wig maker to put all those bundles in, because you know what's gonna happen? If I were to sew 5 bundles of hair on a frontal, number one, it'll be very bulky, very thick. Number two, you will start your day putting it and your edge is fine, but by the end of the day, the weight of the hair on half of that wig will pull it backwards so much that you would see your own edges, which defeats the purpose of having a protective style because it won't be protecting anything at that point. So think about that. A closure allows you to put in, if you like volume, it allows you to pack in quite a lot of hair depending on how you sew it, which ends up looking natural and very voluminous, very Beyonce-like. So I would say that's another factor that really sometimes I have to think, do I want the versatility of pulling all my hair up or do I want it to be thick and luscious? And that can be another factor that you have to think about. So that is basically my thoughts on closures versus frontals, and I will be doing more videos, such as I will be making time to record a video where I show you how to tweeze the frontal to make it look more natural. I'll be showing you how to bleach the knots on your closure without actually ruining the actual frontal itself. I'll be showing you the differences between lace and silk so that you can have more knowledge about wigs and how to wear them, how to make them look natural, how to love on them, how to just slay. Okay, so up until this point and you felt like you learned something, you took away something and you liked it, please don't forget to click the subscribe button below so that you will get to see all of my future videos. But also don't forget to see that bell and click it so that you get notified every single time I release a new video. Other than that, I think in the next couple of weeks I'll be changing the format of my channel a little bit more and my vlogs, and I'll be taking you with me on a couple of travels that I'm going on to meet some very important people in my life that I absolutely love, and it wouldn't feel normal if I didn't show you guys a little bit of who I am and where I'm from and the people I care about. So stay tuned for that, if anything, coming up in the next couple of weeks. And thank you so much for watching this video. I genuinely appreciate you and I wish you an amazing Sunday. Take care of yourself. Bye.